People ask me all the time, Kevin, is the first $10,000 really that important? And I always give the same answer. Yes. Not because it is a big number, but because it exposes who you really are with money. I have spent decades building companies, investing through booms and crashes, and watching people succeed and fail with capital. I have sat across the table from brilliant founders who could explain their product perfectly, but could not manage their own finances. I have also met quiet, disciplined people with modest incomes who built real wealth simply because they respected money and followed structure. That is why the first $10,000 matters so much. If you can manage your first $10,000 well, you earn the right to manage $1 million. If you cannot, the market will teach you that lesson the hard way. When I meet someone with $10,000, I do not see small money. I see a fork in the road. One path leads to confidence, control, and financial independence. The other leads to anxiety, debt, and working far longer than you should. Most people choose the wrong path because they chase comfort instead of clarity. They want to feel rich before they are ready to be wealthy. So let me show you how I think about that first $10,000. Not with hype, not with shortcuts, with discipline, structure, and calm decision-making. Because wealth is not built by excitement. It is built by systems that work quietly in the background. For a long time, people were taught that saving cash was the safest thing you could do. Put money in the bank. Avoid risk. Wait for certainty. That world no longer exists. Inflation quietly erodes your purchasing power. Debt compounds faster than most investments grow. And the biggest danger today is not volatility. It is standing still while the rules change. Most people think risk means the stock market going down. That is a misunderstanding. Real risk is building your life on a weak financial foundation and pretending everything is fine. If you have $10,000 in savings but you also carry high-interest credit card debt, you are not an investor. You are a borrower pretending to be one. And the market is ruthless with borrowers. Before I invest a single dollar, I look at my balance sheet. Not my feelings, not the headlines, not what my friends are buying. If I am paying 18, 20, or 24% interest, no investment in the world can save me. So the first job of the first $10,000 is simple. It removes the poison. High-interest debt is a guaranteed negative return. Paying it off is a guaranteed positive return. That is not glamorous, but it is powerful. Once that debt is gone, something changes inside you. Your stress drops. Your decisions improve. Your confidence becomes real, not fragile. You stop reacting and you start thinking. Now, let us talk about safety. People believe cash is safe because the number does not move. But safety is not about stillness. Safety is about what your money can buy over time. If inflation is rising faster than your bank pays you, your safe cash is quietly shrinking. You will not notice it in a month. You will feel it in a few years when everything feels more expensive and you wonder why your savings do not feel as powerful as they used to. So I do not treat cash as a destination. I treat it as a tool. I hold enough cash to protect my freedom and not a dollar more. 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. That is my shield. That shield means I am never forced to sell investments at the worst possible time. It means I can think clearly when markets are noisy. It means I can act when opportunity appears instead of watching from the sidelines. Calm investors win, not brilliant ones. Once the foundation is built, I let my money go to work. Here is where most people make a mistake. They try to be clever. They chase the next big stock. They follow tips. They gamble on stories. They confuse excitement with intelligence. I do the opposite. I buy boring. Because boring compounds. The core of my strategy is owning the entire market. An index fund that tracks the 500 largest American companies gives me exposure to the most profitable businesses in the country. It removes ego. It removes guesswork. It removes the need to be right all the time. I do not need to predict winners. I let capitalism do that for me. Over time, this quietly builds wealth. No drama. No stress. Just discipline. Then I add income. Dividend-paying companies are the backbone of confidence. These are businesses so strong they send me cash every quarter simply for owning them. Utilities. Energy. Consumer staples. People still turn on the lights. They still heat their homes. They still buy food and soap in a recession. That income gets reinvested automatically. And that is where compounding accelerates. Money making money while I sleep. That is how wealth becomes stable instead of fragile. Now let us talk about speculation. Because I am not against it. I am a venture capitalist. But I control it. 5%. Never more. Crypto assets. Early stage technology. High volatility ideas. This is where I allow excitement. If it goes to zero, I am fine. If it triples, I rebalance and protect the gains. Speculation should never threaten your foundation. That is how adults take risk. Execution matters more than intelligence. I do not try to time the market. I use dollar cost averaging. Same amount, same date, every month. This removes emotion. When markets fall, I buy more. When markets rise, I keep buying. Over time, this builds a machine that compounds quietly and relentlessly. That machine does not care about headlines. It does not care about fear. It does not care about predictions. It just works. Let me explain why the first $10,000 changes everything. Because it forces you to build habits. Habits of discipline. Habits of structure. Habits of patience. If you treat that money like spending money, it disappears. If you treat it like a seed, it grows. And who you become while managing it matters more than the return. People think wealth is about numbers. It is not. It is about behavior. The same behavior that builds 10,000 builds a million. The same mistakes that destroy 10,000 destroy everything. Here is the simple blueprint I live by. Eliminate toxic debt. Build a safety shield. Own the market. Add income. Speculate responsibly. Invest consistently. That is it. No secret formulas. No shortcuts. Just structure and discipline. Money is not emotional. It is mechanical. When you build the right system, it works for you. When you ignore structure, it works against you. The first $10,000 is not about the amount. It is about who you become while managing it. That is why it feels different. That is why it changes everything. And that is how I build wealth.